r/AskReddit. To those that live in Italy, how is the situation right now with coronavirus and lockdown? Right now I'm in my office in Tuscany, 20 miles away from my home. This morning at 7 AM we hadn't any problem moving around, but I don't know how things will evolve outside my workplace. There are a lot of different informations about what you can and what you can't do from all the media, so I'm here hoping to not getting sick and still be capable at least to move to home tonight and maybe came back to work in the next days. Some say life goes on like always, others say everything is compromised. I'm just here, waiting for things to develop. I have friends in northern Italy quarantined in their homes, my mum in hospital working with face masks, and generally people freaking out. They say grocery shopping will be guaranteed, so overall I'm not even worried about it. Maybe is a chance to have some days off and enjoy my home and some games. We never locked down in Seoul, Korea. I think because every COVID-19 related workers doing their job greatly. The evident difference is that the companies, some industries are under serious stressful circumstances in financial. Due to everything has postponed or cancelled / or manufacturing delay, lots of supplies were supposed to import from China. Some major corporations were ordered their employees to work from their home for a few weeks as precaution. During that period, there were no traffic in the city. It was weird. I'm a university student, and since last week we have been doing lessons via Microsoft Teams or Google Classrooms. I don't really like these methods, but it's the only alternative, so. There's a fair amount of psychosis between a big chunk of the population. Supermarkets have been raided overnight. We are advised to not leave our houses unless it's necessary, but you can fill a form on your own to certify that you need to go to work. So basically everyone is running around without a real examination of that form, because literally anyone can do that. The only thing that has been really impacted by this is nightlife and sports, since every league of every sport is suspended until April. I finally have time to mod Skyrim. It never ends. Spend 8 hours modding and fine-tuning Skyrim. Load up game, play for 30 minutes, turn it off. Well, that was fun. Truer words have never been spoken. There will likely be a baby boom in 9 months. Efficient virus, kill the old, spawn the new young. And this is how conspiracies start. It was Chinese government releasing the virus. They have to get rid of all the old and sick people because of their one-child policy they had before. Now they do not have economy power, working people, to pay them pension. High school student here. Schools are simply closed, and the TV is full of ads about washing your hands and avoid contact with other people. Edit. I forgot to say that each morning we have approximately 3 hours of video lessons from our laptop. Sounds ducking lit. I have to say that, for me, it's more stressing to have online lessons. I don't know, I might just be me, but I find it more difficult to follow the video conference rather than an old school class. Hey, in a positive light, you'll appreciate real school more. I'm Italian but live abroad. Currently my brother is in one of the high-risk zone in the north. He works at the university as a researcher. Today he went to work, and the laboratory was empty. Starting from tomorrow the uni told him to stay at home, and that the structure will be temporarily closed. He was planning an exchange with a laboratory in Ireland for April, but I think it's cancelled. He's worried of course and a bit bored too, but he understands that the situation is critical and that we have to give our contribution to avoid the spreading. My cousin is in Bologna where the situation is surreal. According to him, no one is on the streets and the supermarket got assaulted multiple times from people concerning that they would have run out of food, which is not going to happen since supplies are guaranteed. My parents live in a small city in the south where only 4 cases were registered in the entire region so far, so they are not much concerned, but they are taking precautions if the situation will get worse, and they are trying to stay at home when possible. Luckily their jobs are not at risk because my mother works in public administration and my father can work on remote. I live in Germany instead. Yesterday I went to a pharmacy and I could get a couple of face masks just in case. The ladies there understood from my accent I wasn't German, so they asked me where I was coming from. As soon as I said I was Italian they jumped away. I felt like I needed to specify I was living here and had no contact with Italy since December. That felt bad. Why did it get so bad in Italy, anyway? It seems so disproportionate and random that Italy of all places got slammed by this disease. A few factors were against Italy that made it such a hotbed. It is a massive tourist destination. Italy has one of the largest tourist industries in the world, ranked 5 by number of visits in 2018. It attracts food tourists, its wine regions are popular, it has stunning beaches, and then we have the cultural aspect, whether that's the Roman ruins or medieval or Renaissance architecture. This means that Italy was pretty much sure of getting some people who were infected. Once the infection started, Italy has another key factor. It has one of the oldest populations on Earth, 5th, 3rd if we don't count tiny places like Monaco or St. Miquelon. This means that it is extremely sensitive to an infection that disproportionately affects the elderly. For a benchmark, the median age in Italy is 7 years older than the US. As such, the amount of people who will die/require medical attention for this disease is higher. Italy's response following initial infection was one of the most comprehensive and aggressive of any nation outside of Asia, if not the most. This means massive amounts of testing. As such, the numbers are a relatively accurate representation of the actual rate of sickness in the country. Places like the US could very well have as many, if not more, people currently ill with coronavirus. But no one knows. Some countries seem to be applying a strategy that I'd call la-IA, can't hear you, la-IA, which is extremely effective at keeping the reported number of confirmed cases down, but doesn't necessarily do much to deal with the actual number of people infected. So we know why it was extremely likely that Italy would get caught up in this. We know why it is having such a drastic impact on Italy and its health services, and we know why Italy's numbers are so high. For a couch potato like me it's awesome. I can watch my uni lessons online, and in my free time, play a duck ton of video games or work out a little bit. Also I think we are allowed to leave and get some fresh air. So except for the deadly virus thing everything is okay. I live in Hong Kong, so we had protests and the virus back to back. My university has been closed since mid-November. Sounds like hell to some people, but I'm really enjoying it. Always look on the bright side of life. I have a daughter living in Serrano, but she works in Milano. She is housebound, on lockdown. Her courses are being done via Skype. Her employer has asked her not to come to work. She is not allowed to leave her house, unless it is an emergency, which I hope never happens. She says there has been quite a bit of panic buying at the supermarkets. All the restaurants are pretty much empty, however they are allowed to be open between 6 AM and 6 PM. People who are seated should have at least a 1 meter distance between them at restaurants. Tourist areas, Egg Duomo in Milano, are devoid of almost anybody. All school and universities remain closed, all sporting or any kind of events have been suspended, ski resorts are closed, the same for cinemas, theaters, discos, all church services have been suspended. Whilst the measures may seem extreme, Italy has been the hardest hit worldwide besides for China, so it's necessary to curb travel and cultural activities to stop the spread of the virus. Are there reasons why restaurants are shut outside if 6:30 AM to 6:30 PM? It's to prevent people who ignore the lockdown and go out in the evenings from gathering at bars/restaurants, while still providing service for the ones out to work during the day. Currently watching a university lesson from my bed, but my father went to work this morning. I'm in a region where the lockdown started officially today, so it's all pretty new. Let's hope people don't storm the grocery stores. Are banks closed? I'm not 100% sure, but I think they are open. How common is paying by debit card in Italy? Pretty common. People don't do it for small sums, but all stores accept it. I live in Verona. I'm a 19 years old living alone because my mother and my father took it in Milan, and for the first time I'm home alone for a month. Pretty nice though. I play GTA 5 with my friends like the old days, doing some indoor workout and experimenting with cooking. I'm becoming a good chef. The school is quite annoying, but it's okay. I wake up at 7:30 and at 8 AM I start a 5 hours straight in front of my laptop for online lessons, and then I go cooking my lunch. I don't go out, if not to buy some food and maybe some cigarettes, because the situation it's not good. There is no space left in the intensive therapy, so if I get really sick, they would have to remove someone to save me, since I would have better chance of surviving. This is why I almost never go out, once a week. I don't want to be the reason for someone's death. I've been locked in my house with my 2 sisters and my mother for 2 weeks, and I still have a month ahead of me. Please send help. I'm returning back to my place after I kept my GF company yesterday. Thing is, her parents work, and I'm scared that somehow I got it, and it's just waiting to show symptoms. The paranoia will only increase in the next few weeks. This is still not the worst moment. Also, I will never thank enough all the people working in the medical field RN, they are the true heroes. I hope when things are over we'll invest more in public health and be more conscious about safety standards. I'm a nurse student in Italy. Right now I can't go to the university, I can't go to work, we shouldn't go out unless it's a necessity, so basically we need to stay home and finally finish our Netflix list. It may sound pretty cool for the first few days, but after a while it gets pretty depressing and boring. I got so bored that I cleaned everything at home. Sounds familiar to me. I'm in China and I've been stuck in my apartment for nearly 2 months. I can get food delivered and go to the convenience store to buy other things, but nearly everything is closed other than supermarkets and pharmacies. It was, as you said, pretty cool for the first few days. Now it's just terrible, although it is slowly getting better again. I hope things get better for you and the rest of Italy soon. But I'm afraid this is probably just the beginning. I'm a doctor who works at one of the largest hospitals in Rome. The situation seems much worse than reported in the news. We are scared, but we continue to go to work for a sense of responsibility by turning. We do not have suitable safeguards for our protection, such as FFP3 masks. Basic Italian uni student with bad English here. Basically in the past we used to cough to cover up a fart. Nowadays we fart to cover up a cough.